Hello everyone. I am coming at you remote today from our cabin, so I hope the service is good. Today I want to talk to you about showing up for your essential self. We've been hearing that word essential a lot in the last 2 months, and I thought to myself the other day, wow, we can talk about businesses that being essential, but we are super essential, and we forget that. So let me introduce myself. My name is 𝗫𝗏𝗏𝗏, and I help women find their expertise, their magic, their mojo, and then turn that into a profitable business. So showing up for your essential self. I think the first thing it's important to do is to talk about what does it mean to be essential. If you look up the word essential in the dictionary, you will find words like fundamental, vital, utmost importance, necessary, and I think this is my favorite, indispensable. And so many times we, especially mothers who are on that end of, or the beginning of the empty nesting or into the empty nesting years, we have put ourselves first so many times that we forget that even though we know we're essential to our kids and our spouse or our friends or whatever, we end up putting so many people first that we can feel like an extra or forgotten, or just a leftover. Not everybody does this, but I'm telling you from experience that many people do. So I think it's super important that we address that. You know, the number one regret of the dying, you probably have heard this because I've heard it for years. The number one regret of the dying is that they wish that they had had the courage to live a life that was true to themselves and not what others expected of them. Wow. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. I want to live a life that is true to me and not what other people expected. We are such people pleasers. Again, not everybody, but many of us are such people pleasers that we forget that there's something inside of us that should not be forgotten. There's a story, or not a story, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's a story that I was told that was just really hit home about this, and it's all about learned helplessness. When elephants are small, again, true or not true, when elephants are small, I'm going to remove something from my screen, a trainer will take like a shackle and put it on its leg, on a chain, and then put a stake into the ground so that the elephant can move, but it can only go so far. And then it just learns that. It learns that, and it continues to do that. And even as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and able to pull that chain and that stake out of the ground, it doesn't, because it has built up in its brain the parameters that it can go past. And so many times we do that. We do not think outside of the box because of what people expect us to do. Oh, can't do that because this is expected of me. And the truth of the matter is that every single one of us is a blank canvas. It's a blank canvas, and it's so funny why we can tell our kids that, right? You can do anything. You can do anything. But we forget that. We are a blank canvas. That means we can fill that canvas with what we want from what's inside of us. Now this is sort of a goofy analogy, but it really spoke to my heart. You know, I do believe that we are created by a higher power, and I know that He has given each one of us gifts. So here's the example that's sort of kind of goofy, but it really meant something to me. We have all been given a bag, if you will, a bag. And in that bag are different objects that match who we are. And sometimes people have hammers and chainsaws in their bag because they are geared to be an architect or a builder or a construction worker. That is their gift. Maybe the bag is filled with a syringe, a thermometer. You were given the gift of helping people through medicine. Maybe it's a pen and paper because you were a teacher. Maybe it's a paintbrush. Maybe it is whatever. But we've all been given these talents, and we need to remember that we are an open. Really, we can create what that is from what we have inside of us, and we don't have to build these learned helpless parameters around it. So I've got some questions I think that are super helpful for you to ask yourself when you feel like you're not living up to your essential self, that you are feeling forgotten, feeling extra. And the first one is, what are you believing about yourself? Now, I'm sure there's going to be good things and bad things, but what are you believing about yourself? What are some lies that you've told yourself? The second question would be, what do I need to let go of? I will say right away, it's those lies that you're too old, you're too young, you're not, you haven't gone to school long enough. That's nothing that you should do because this is the safer route for you to take. So what do you need to let go of? And then this is a really, really good one. How many years ago did you come up with what you could or could not do? Here's an example. I have told myself for years that I'm not good with numbers. I hate numbers. Don't talk to me about numbers because they confuse me, which is true, but I am good with numbers. For whatever reason, years ago, I just told myself that I'm not good with numbers. The other thing that I have told myself for years, because I was a school teacher and I did love teaching, but because I was sort of the quiet one in the family, the one that didn't cause the waves or whatever, I told myself that I needed to do something that was sort of fit that mold. And in my brain, it was to it was to be a teacher. When the truth is at this age, 54, man, I love digital things. I love things that are on social sites to figure it out and to create. So it's those things that I told myself years ago that kind of was my glass ceiling. You've heard of the term glass ceiling. It's you only go so far, women can only go so far. Well, what age did you create your glass ceiling? What age did you do that? Remember that you are essential. So give yourself permission. You could even write a permission slip. I give myself permission to mess up and to be messy. I give myself permission to be imperfect, to be perfectly imperfect. I give myself permission to call myself a work in progress. Sometimes I feel like I need to have a sign on my forehead that says under construction, because I'm constantly evolving and changing just like you are. Give yourself permission to see the world with a new lens, to take off your old glasses of what people expected of you and look at something with your lens, your essential lens. To see the world, give yourself permission to see yourself as a blank canvas. Give yourself permission to look to the future with expectation and possibilities. To give yourself permission to get curious, to play, to know that there's mojo inside of you. Remember that bag that you're carrying around, those gifts and talents. And then, lastly, give yourself permission to be called essential, because you are. All right, so thank you so much for watching this video. Listen, got some places where you can find me, and one is in a Facebook group called Rise Above. It's for women who really want to take their expertise and turn that into a profitable business. I'm going to drop the link. I've got a Facebook group called Confident Woman Club, and I love it, love it, love it, because it is filled with confident women, not so confident women, and women who really know that they need to consider themselves essential. And then I'll drop my YouTube channel below as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great Friday.